Stealth Army, what's good with you guys, and welcome back to another video today. Hope you guys are all doing great today. There's two reasons why you're really gonna like this video, okay? Two reasons. You want to hear them? The first reason, it's about the Warden. From start to finish, Warden. Tweets about Warden from the man, the legend, the GOAT, the king himself, KINGBDOGZ. He's an amazing human being, okay? I love this guy to death. That's the second reason. You get to see a bunch of tweets by KINGBDOGZ. So a lot of these tweets expand several months, like 6 or 7 months worth of tweets. The first one starting in October, so it took me a long time to find all of these tweets. And some of these things that he was mentioning, I actually didn't even know about. So hopefully you guys learned some new things about the Warden as well in today's video. If you can do two major favors for me. The first one, leave a like if you're part of the Warden fan club. I'd really appreciate that. The second favor is to follow the homie KINGBDOGZ. Let him know on Twitter that the Stealth Army is creeping on him 24/7. It's out of love though, out of love. As always, I really appreciate the support, guys. Hashtag that Stealth Army as usual, and let's get straight to it. So this tweet is from October 4th, 2020, so a long time ago. And KINGBDOGZ said, "Why do you think the Warden has the name it has?" Which, in my opinion, it's basically in the name itself, right? The Warden is the king of its territory. The Warden is the boss of the deep dark biome. That's its domain. It's the ruler. And if anybody is going to trespass in the Warden's domain, they're going to get stomped out, right? They're going to get destroyed. And it's pretty clear and self-evident in this gameplay that the Warden doesn't like anybody in its domain. So definitely be careful when you're in the deep dark. Even if you're being super sneaky, you just never know. The next tweet is from October 4th as well. Something I think people haven't noticed much yet is that there is a mysterious encroaching darkness as the Warden is approaching the player from afar. So I'll have it on the screen right now so you guys can see what happens as the Warden gets closer and closer and is trying to figure out where is that noise coming from. Who has entered the Warden's domain? And darkness consumes everything. The lights dim down and it's just really spooky. Like, I would honestly run away in this situation. Let me know what you guys would do. So we actually get an explanation about this by KINGBDOGZ when Nishko asks, "Yeah, I noticed and I love it. Is there an explanation for why this happens, or is it just to scare the player even more?" And KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, "The mechanical purpose is to warn you that the Warden is nearby. You should get ready if you start to see pure darkness like that." So it's definitely a warning sign that A, the Warden is very close by, and B, if you're not super sneaky, you're gonna die, right? It's just game over, because more than likely, you're not gonna defeat this mob. So this next tweet is about the bow and arrow and being able to spam a bunch of arrows at the Warden. And BatBrain1998 says, "Shooting while sneaking is silent mechanic would make it too easy to kill the Warden with a bow. I think that bows, crossbows, tridents, and ender pearls should always make vibrations while throwing snowballs and eggs should be safe." And then KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, "The difference there is that while it might not be able to detect the initial throw, shooting the Warden directly with an arrow will absolutely know that it comes from you. The rule at the moment is that any direct attacks against the Warden, it will know the source." So this is going to make it infinitely more challenging. So for those of you who are like, "Yo, I got a great bow, it's got everything on it, I'm about to spam all these arrows from 50 blocks away, the Warden's not gonna know what happened." Unfortunately, the Warden is gonna know exactly where you shot that arrow from, meaning this is probably the most intelligent mob in the entire game right now. That just lets you know that this mob is going to be the ultimate challenge. In my opinion, this doesn't really feel like a mob they want you to defeat, right? Because even if you use a sword, if netherite gear isn't going to protect you that much, then you really have no other options. The bow's not going to be a good solution. The trident's not going to be a good solution. So exactly what can you do? I don't know, guys. How are you going to approach the Warden? Share your ideas down below. We have another tweet directed at KINGBDOGZ by Ender. I have no fear to a dimensional dragon that rules an entire dimension, and I don't even fear to a three-headed undead guy who kills everything he sees. I'm not going to be afraid of a blind mob that just lives in caves. And KINGBDOGZ is like, look, Chief, well, I think the sound design, mood, and feeling of lack of control is much more scary with the Warden than the Ender Dragon and Wither. Wardens are designed to be almost impossible to kill by normal means, whereas the other mobs you mentioned are designed to be defeated. So that brings up the same question. How exactly are we going to defeat the Warden? I'll probably talk about that in a separate video, some crazy ideas and methods to possibly be able to defeat such an entity, such a mob. But let's move on to the next tweet. Tuning into the darkest of depths. What's that sound? So I actually made a separate video about this noise. I honestly don't know, especially after this last tweet where KINGBDOGZ said, pro tip, it's not the Warden. And then he also said that it's actually not a mob as well. So what exactly is that noise? Where is it coming from? So yeah, guys, share your thoughts down below on that one. I think that the Deep Dark is going to hold a lot of mysteries, a lot of secrets that we probably won't know until the actual release of 1.18, which is the best part about all of this. It's the best part about the Warden, about the Deep Dark, about everything around these two major features is basically we don't really know much about either of them, and I think that's just the fascinating part. Tina says, will the Warden have a specific drop when killed, or will it have a ton of XP like the Ender Dragon? KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, there's no planned drop right now for the Warden. Doing so would encourage people to kill them rather than fear them. So this is a major tweet right here that I feel like hasn't really attracted too much attention. I mean, it only has 6 likes, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are not going to like this, but you gotta understand, the Warden isn't designed to be a boss, and that's very clear by the gameplay footage that it's gonna kill you in 2 to 3 hits with netherite gear, the best gear in the entire game. This is a mob that really forces you to play a certain style, which is to be stealthy, to be sneaky, and not necessarily fight it like you would other mobs. Like, they want you to approach this very differently, and as a result, the loot drops are not really going to be the incentive. It's all about the treasure that you can possibly find in this biome if you are to successfully sneak by the Warden. Successfully, right? So you got to be extremely quiet, and hopefully you don't attract the Warden. Mert says, but with no drop, there's no reward for killing the Warden. And KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, that's the point. You should not be rewarded for killing the Warden. If there's a reward, you as a player will want to kill it, which is not the gameplay we are trying to encourage / build. So just to sort of emphasize that point, that this isn't the whole idea behind the Warden. Think of it as a guardian of the Deep Dark, a protector of the Deep Dark, and you are trespassing. It's that simple. However, there's still treasure down in this biome, so they do want you to find that treasure, but that means you have to approach things very differently, right? And that is why it's so cool to me, because there's no other type of mob that forces you to play that way. There's no other type of environment in Minecraft that makes you feel that way. And that's why I love all of this, and I love the direction that KINGBDOGZ is taking this. Sculk Tech Stuff says, my main worry with the Warden is that stealthing around it will be practically mandatory, because I hate it when non-stealth games have enforced stealth moments, cause I have ADHD and I don't like being forcefully slowed. KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, this is a good point and something I've been thinking about. To be honest, I don't know the solution other than having extremely late game reward that makes the Warden pretty easy to deal with. My only problem with that is it somewhat defeats the purpose. I don't know yet. So, I think my response to all of this is that nobody's really forcing you to go in the deep dark. I know that's like not the best thing to say, but because it's like almost saying nobody's forcing you to go to the end city. It's there, it exists, and there's great loot there, but nobody's being like, hey, go to the end city, you have to do this in order to continue playing Minecraft. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but all I'm saying is that Minecraft has so many different mechanics and so many things that might not be for everybody. You might not be into redstone, you might not be into fighting bosses or even building, which is very common. Like, not everybody's into building, yet it's still in Minecraft. So I feel like they should definitely stick with this concept. It's very different, it's very unique, there's nothing else like this in Minecraft. So if you don't want to go to the deep dark, you shouldn't have to, and I don't think they're going to force you to either. I think it's just really cool that KINGBDOGZ is trying to do something very unique, very different, something we don't have in this game, and we should definitely encourage him to continue and just make it as scary, as spooky as possible. I think that's what we should do as a community, because ultimately we want Minecraft to just continue growing and becoming better and better, and KINGBDOGZ is trying to do that with the Warden in the Deep Dark. Now, Navid says, I watched the first Ask Mojang video and you said there's no special loot for the Warden. I really got disappointed. Please set good loot for the Warden. KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, the point is to have special loot in the chest. We don't want players encouraged to kill the Warden. So hopefully I got some of you guys back from like 2 minutes ago when I said the Warden is not going to drop anything as of right now. But KINGBDOGZ also said that the Deep Dark is going to have special loot. And I cannot wait, guys. I'm really hoping that they go all out on the treasure, the chests. Like, I want them to add the best items in the game in the Deep Dark. Considering how dangerous this place is going to be, the Warden being one of the strongest, if not the strongest mob in the entire game, they have to go all out here. I'm hoping it's better loot than the end city, and as of right now, the end city is the best place to get treasure. So I want them to exceed the end city and really put some amazing items, some really amazing content in the Deep Dark treasure chests. But share your ideas down below. Let's continue. For those worried that the Warden won't be as menacing as the versions in Minecraft Live because of my recent comments, don't worry. In recent prototypes, it's more menacing, intelligent, and horrific than before. That's why I've been pondering if I've gone too far or not. KINGBDOGZ, whatever you're doing, just keep on going. Increase the intensity by 10. We all want a challenge. This game is really old. It's over 10 years old, and there's a lot of people here thirsting for a new challenge. Make it as difficult as you feel is necessary, my friend. He also later continues by saying, the entire reason I implemented the environment getting darker when the Warden is around is so you see the details of the Warden as little as possible. When you're not entirely sure what it is or what it looks like, that's when it's most scary. So he definitely is a huge fan of just horror. Like, you can tell by his tweets, like, he cannot wait to add something this sinister, this frightening, this just monstrosity of a mob. Like, I think he's looking forward to seeing how many people fail when they're approaching the Warden. So fingers crossed that we actually get it in the betas and snapshots, hopefully within the next few months. This final tweet is directed at KINGBDOGZ. I heard rumors that there will only be one Warden. Can you confirm that it's true? KINGBDOGZ replied by saying, trust me, there's more than one Warden when it finally comes out. You'll be unlucky to face multiple, however. So yes, I cannot imagine multiple wardens. Like, I don't even think I can handle one, and we're talking about multiple wardens. So imagine that. Like, that just sounds like the most terrifying thing in the entire game, easily. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I put a lot of work into finding all these tweets, and it was a blast. I'm not gonna lie. You guys know I love talking about the Warden. I love talking about the Deep Dark, and I especially love talking about KINGBDOGZ, the homie. So as always, I appreciate the support. Notification squad, you know the drill, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So take care. Peace.
Flat, flat. Me, I'm super flat, 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 flat. Me, I'm super flat, flat, super, super flat. Me,